Hi, my name is Armin Morin, and welcome back to the second session of BYO Traffic. Now, as a refresher, just to keep you up to date as far as where we are and what we've talked about in the previous session, the types of traffic that we talked about previously were pay-to-click type strategies and the PPV or CPV, and we went through those in the last session. I explained to you what they were. I showed you a couple different examples with PTC, and then I showed you an example with PPV as well too. And I also showed you some places where you could get both basically immediately. But more importantly, in the last session, the BYO aspect of it was that I showed you how to find more of it. So the PTC types websites, there's plenty of them. There's more popping up every single day. The PPV websites, well, there's fewer of them. There may be 6 or 7 of them, maybe in total, that are worth utilizing in any way, shape, or form. And that's about it. But the thing is, once you understand all the PPV traffic techniques, I shouldn't say techniques, but companies that are out there, they all work the exact same. There really is no different. The cost is a little bit different on some of them, but other than that, they're pretty much the same no matter what. And the PTC companies, well, they're pretty much identical as well. So it's just a matter of finding more. And the PTC strategies, like I should say, companies, are the ones that are popping up more and more every day. So that could be a growing list that you keep building and building and building and building. Now, today's session, what we're going to be going into is PPC traffic and the actual ad networks. Now, why do these two go hand in hand? Well, it's basic. Ad networks basically operate on a PPC strategy. Now, again, PPC, you'll look at it and some people will call it CPC, which stands for cost per click, and PPC stands for pay per click. They're both the same no matter what. But the third element, third way of advertising typically with these type of ad networks is a CPM type model. So a CPM stands for basically, well, it's cost per thousand. That's really what it means. It's cost per thousand. So those three methods we'll kind of walk through on some of the different places that we'll advertise, and we'll demonstrate on some of the more popular networks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to expand this really, really fast, because ad networks are everywhere, and there are hundreds upon hundreds of ad networks that exist out there. And I'll show you how to find as many of them as you could possibly have, because these are so important. These get you into areas that you never thought possible. These ad networks will actually get you onto places like, for example, the Huffington Post or CNN or ESPN or many of the other mainstream type websites. That's where you'll be able to advertise utilizing an ad network. And it's not that difficult. Any one of you can set up an ad on probably the most popular websites in the world in just a few short minutes if you know where to go and how to advertise there. It's not difficult. It's very easy. Now, the question really comes down to is, even though I could advertise on a very popular website, does that mean it's going to work for me? And sometimes the answer is yes, and other times the answer is absolutely not. So we need to understand the concept and the philosophy of PPC and how ad network works. If you understand the philosophy, then again, as my intention has been from the very beginning, you'll never want for traffic ever again, because you will understand every PPC company and every advertising network that exists out there instantly, in seconds. You know, I know I'll never forget. There was a time someone asked me a question. I believe I was doing a seminar, and they asked me a question about a very specific ad network. Now, I personally had never utilized that ad network before, and I kind of alluded to that, but I went ahead and I signed up live for the ad network. Then I walked that person exactly how to create ads on that ad network instantly in seconds. Now, did I know what I was looking at? I had no clue. I had absolutely no clue. So how was I able to navigate and walk a person through and explain to them how to advertise very, very specifically on that ad network? It's easy. It's because every ad network is basically the exact same thing. There's really no variations. In fact, most of their interfaces are the same. In fact, many, many, many ad networks run the exact same software. They may have a different set of companies that they can advertise to, but the software that runs the back of the ad networks a lot of times is the same software from one to the other. So when you log in, you're going to find noticeable things, and they're going to use the same terminology, so you'll never really get lost. When we're talking about any kind of network, you can simply sign on and start creating ads in a couple seconds if you understand the concept, the philosophy as far as how it works, and more importantly, why it works. Now, after today's session, the last session we're going to go into is low-cost traffic and viral traffic. And then also one of the things that you'll be receiving is our SEO traffic as well too. Now, PPC traffic, that's where we are going to start today. Like I said, this is one of the oldest and most recognized types of traffic. And also, as I said a few moments ago, you either pay per click or CPM, which means cost per 1,000 views. And some examples of companies that do this are many of the well-known companies that you know right now, and that is companies like Google with their AdWords program, Bing with their Ad Center, and Facebook with their Facebook advertising. These basically are PPC type companies as far as advertising goes. So the majority of ad programs out there in existence today work off of this type of traffic model. Basically, you pay to play. You pay per click. You only pay for a visitor. And that's awesome. That's incredible. And the reason why that is so incredible is because we can predict our success. We can predict our success. We know how much money we're spending, and we know how much money we make. So we can predict our success. If we know our conversion numbers, then what we can do is simply run some simple numbers to understand how much traffic we're going to receive or would like to receive and how much we are willing to pay for that traffic. And we'll go over that in just a few short minutes before we get started. And then the other section that we're going to talk about tonight is ad networks, and basically companies who gather advertisers and publishers and basically put them together. They allow the advertisers to advertise on the publisher's network, and that company takes a piece. In many cases, this type of traffic is a more targeted type of traffic because it's more controlled, and there's someone out there that's looking over your shoulder and looking out for your best interest because it's in their best interest as well too if you continue to advertise. So it's very important. And these have become a very popular type item over the course of the last few years. So let's get started and start talking about PPC traffic and also the ad networks today. So let's switch over to our browser. And the first thing that we want to do in our browser is really kind of go over a very basic strategy. Now, the reason I say this is a very basic strategy is because, well, it is, but it's also the lifeblood of how you know whether your advertising is going to work and how much you can be willing to pay for that. So we have to make some assumptions. Now, the first thing that you need to know before we even go any further, and let me make this font a little bit bigger, is you need to know your conversions, meaning whether you're going for, and there's really a couple different types of conversions. Number one, opt-in conversions, but more importantly is sales conversions. Meaning, how many visitors does it take to get an opt-in and how many visitors does it take in order to get a sale? Those are the two numbers. That's it. I want a percentage. Give me a percentage. And if you're sending people to an opt-in page, I want to know how many people convert. And if you're sending people to a sales page, I want to know how many people convert. How much money are we making for that visitor coming to your website? If we know this number, everything else is a piece of cake. Now, let's throw in some numbers into here. So let's say that it takes us 100 visitors. Let me just write this down, 100 visitors. And let's say that out of that 100 visitors, let's say we're also selling a product for $50. Okay, we'll just make this up as we go. So it's $50. And let's also say that we convert at 1%. So the conversion rate is, we'll say 1%. Oops. 1%. There we go. So that means for every 100 visitors that we receive in this scenario, one person is going to buy. So now, how much does it cost us to get that 100 visitors? Well, we know per 100 visitors that it's going to cost us, we're going to make $50. Okay, that's what we're going to bring in. But we're unsure of, though, is the actual cost. So how much can we absolutely spend in order to make this happen? Well, if we break this down, it's really not that difficult. So 100 visitors, we make $50. Let me mark that down in here just to make sure you guys understand here what we're doing. In fact, let's type it in this way. Revenue. So our conversion rate is 1%. So 100 visitors, one sale, we make $50. So if we took, let's just say 50 divided by 100, okay? So if we open up a calculator so I don't screw it up, I pretty much know the answer. You guys probably do too. So if we take 50 divided by 100, that means we can pay at a very maximum is 50 cents per visitor. On average, I can only spend $50 per visitor, and that is my break even. I only break even if I spend 50 cents on average per visitor. Now, is this number important? The answer is heck yeah. It's extremely important, because what if you were advertising and you ended up choosing 60 cents? You were willing to pay 60 cents per visitor. Well, you're losing 10 cents for every time a person visits your site if these numbers hold true. So we need to understand these numbers. They're not complicated numbers. They're very, very easy numbers to understand. And of course, by increasing our conversion rate, it makes it easier for us. So again, by increasing our conversion rate, we can spend more in our advertising, because it will allow us to have a higher revenue. So for example, if I got 2 sales, if I had 2% conversion and I made 2 sales instead of 1, well, now I'm up to $1 per visitor at that point. So now that's just to break even. Now, if I can get my traffic less, if I can decrease the cost of my traffic, and I can increase my conversion rate, well, now all of a sudden I start the openings of a bigger profit model. I should say profit margin. So now those are the two things I really need to work on. So in order for me to make more money at this point, I need to either get underneath 50 cents a visitor right now, or what I need to do is I need to increase my conversion rate, or do both. So I create this gap, basically this room for me to play. By creating this room for me to play, all of a sudden, I am now more comfortable, instantly more comfortable, quite honestly. So these are just some examples of how you figure out what your numbers should be. So now I know if I'm going to advertise this particular product, that 50 cents per visitor is the maximum amount that I can possibly advertise with. So that makes it easy for me to make decisions. When I go to advertise, my decision-making process is already taken care of for me. I don't have to think about it. In fact, I don't want any of you to think about it either, because the more you think about it, you'll try to justify spending more money, some ridiculous reason why. I have no idea why you will, but I'm going to tell you right now, people try to do it all the time. People lie, numbers don't. That's the reality of it. People lie, numbers don't. If we understand the numbers, we're great. We're in great shape. If we don't understand the numbers, well, I'm going to tell you right now, get to understand the numbers, because the numbers are going to save your butt long term, no matter what. Does this make sense? So let's start off with the most basic ways in order to advertise on some of the most popular sites. And we'll start off with Bing first. Now, we all know Google, and we know Bing, and we know Facebook, and we know of these places. But the fact is that if I had to name the most underutilized traffic resource on the internet today, I would absolutely say it's Bing. Now, I'm going to go into some incredible detail here as far as Bing and what we can do and what we can't do. It's easy. It's simple if we understand how to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to, I believe it's, I'm just going to type in Bing Ad Center. Now, the reason why I do that is because no matter what, I actually keep forgetting the name of this particular website all the time. So we're going to click on the ad. It brings us into this login page. And again, to shorten it up for you a little bit, if you go to bingads.microsoft.com, bingads.microsoft.com. So if you go to bingads.microsoft.com, you'll see instantly that this is where you would log in, or this is where you also would sign up in order to create an account. So if you don't have an account, come here first, create an account, and then once you create an account, come back here, and then ultimately log in. So I already have an account. I'm going to click sign in. You know, and I was just thinking, I was doing some tests the other day during our training, and what happened was I left a couple ads up, and these were my 2 ads that I had left running. And you can see I'm only paying 6 cents a visitor for that, and that's for today. Let's do yesterday. The rest of my ads are paused. Yesterday I was paying 4 cents a visitor and 5 cents a visitor. And notice my budget, 10 and 5. So I got 143 visitors here and 262 here. On this top one, I paid $11.95 to get 262 visitors at an average cost per click of 5 cents. On the second one, my budget was $5. I ended up spending $6.37. And my ads were shown 9,191 times. My average click-through rate was 1.56. On the bottom one, my average click-through rate on top was 1.44. And everything's good. I mean, these are actually some great ads. All I need to do is expand the amount that I'm actually spending. If you look at these ads right now, it says campaign out of budget, which means I went over. It hit my budget for the day, and now it stopped running. If we look over the course of the last 7 days, now we can see, are these numbers consistent? Well, they're more than consistent. First of all, I'm paying 4 cents a click here, and I'm paying 4 cents a click here on average. I've received 465 clicks here, and I received 1,508 visitors here. So I sent 1,508 visitors to this particular website that's promoting, and honestly, when I was just messing around, and I only spent $10. I mean, I shouldn't say I only spent an average of $10 per day, and a total is $65.49. So I spent $65.49 and received 1,508 clicks. Is that a good deal? Yes. Let me ask you a question. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist or anything, but let's go back here for a second. In this scenario that I just showed you earlier, is that 4 cents less than 50 cents per visitor? Well, the answer is absolutely yes. So in this particular case, my 50 cents per visitor, I'm in great shape because I'm spending so little on my advertising. This is what makes it work. So Bing ads, you can get some great conversions on this. Now, I haven't checked these 2 ads to see exactly what we did, but what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we're going to simply create a new ad. Okay. We're going to create a new campaign. I'm going to, on the left-hand side, click create campaign. That's all I'm going to do. Now here, we go through some basic campaign setup. Number one, we need to give it a name. Well, since I've been promoting my marketing tutorials, I'm going to promote my marketing tutorials website again. And then we set our time zone. I don't really need to do that. I've done that already. It says -5. And then my campaign budget per day. And this is the conversation that we absolutely have to have. And I will have this conversation with you again and again and again and again and again. And the reason why is because I don't like seeing people spend money. I really don't. I don't like seeing them spend money that they should not be spending. I don't like seeing people making mistakes that they should not be making. And I really don't like seeing people make, or I should say, spend a lot of money because of a stupid mistake or a stupid understanding of how something works. So this conversation that we're about to have is going to be the most important conversation that you've had regarding your advertising career as far as marketing products and services online. And the reason is because this is from experience. I can teach you all the technical skills in the world, but the most difficult piece for me to teach you and to impart to you is a level of experience. I cannot do that, and I cannot do that at all, but I can give you the biggest warnings of your life and hopefully scare the crap out of you enough so you actually listen to me. Does that make sense? This subject is extremely important. And the reason why it's important is because it's about your money, how much money you spend, and more importantly, how you spend it. Now, let's just start off with this. No matter who you are, no matter what you've done, no matter what kind of experience you've had, whenever you are starting a new campaign, you always start with the minimum amount. And that is typically $5 or $10. And I'll go $10 probably almost all the time. I'll start off at least $10 to see how I'm doing. If I can make $10 work, then I can increase that. It's okay. It's okay to increase your budget a little bit later once you know that type of traffic converts for you. So again, I'll let you choose as far as which one. It's either 5 or 10. What I'm looking for is I'm looking for clicks. Can I get the clicks? I don't know if I can get the clicks yet. Remember, this is a cost per click type scenario that we're typically going after. So I need to know that I can get the clicks. If I cannot get the clicks, then there's something wrong with my ad, and I don't want to spend a bunch of money on not getting the right clicks. So what do I do here? $10. $10 daily. $10 daily. Now, underneath this is the budget options. The budget options, one of two options. Standard, which means it spends your money a little bit throughout the day. By spending your money a little bit throughout the day, it kind of gives you an indication as far as how your overall ad is running. But at the same time, what it does is it takes longer to figure out. Now, is it the best method to use? I'm going to tell you, yeah, it's probably the best method to use. Unless you are sitting in front of your computer consistently all day long, well, like me, and you want to do an accelerated spend, and you are at the right time of the day. Now, what do I mean by right time of the day? Well, if I wanted to spend all my money at one time, which is what an accelerated version of your budget is, I may not want to spend all of it at 9 o'clock in the morning. I may not want to spend all of it at noon. I may not want to spend all of it between 5 and 7 o'clock in the evening. I may want to spend it, though, maybe between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock. Now, again, I'm just using very much a hypothetical example. Now, why would I choose between 8 and 10 o'clock? Is because people are home, they're done eating, and now they're on the internet. And so that would be the prime time for me to capture their attention, hopefully with an ad that I run. Will I? We don't know. I don't know. It really depends. But accelerated just simply means that we spend our ad at the time that we create this ad. From the time that it's approved, we start spending our money immediately, and it goes through it very, very, very fast. So most of the time, 99.99% of the time, on Bing specifically, you will advertise at a very low budget range, $5 to $10, and you will select that standard, and you will never change that. Does that make sense? Next, as we come down through, language, typically, in many cases, English, and then locations. And when we choose the location drop-down box menu on the left-hand side of the page, it says, what locations do you want to include or exclude? So in this particular case, the United States is shown for me. Now, I always, as I've said in previous examples, I always separate my countries. Canada is by itself, United States is by itself, UK is by itself, Australia is by itself, New Zealand is by itself, and other countries are basically on their own as well too. So I'll run this ad just for the US, but then I may duplicate everything about this particular ad that I'm running and target just Canada. And then I may duplicate the whole thing again and target just Facebook, and then duplicate the whole thing again and target just New Zealand or Australia. That's basically what I would do. And if I wanted to choose another country, I would select one of these drop-down menus up here, and another box would appear, and then I would have to select the countries that I'd like to advertise in. Pretty simple so far. The next, create an ad. Here's how you create an ad. The ad type, well, it says basically WAP mobile ad, okay? Or text ad. It's basically text ad. All the time it's a text ad. Now it's time for our title. So I'm gonna come up with something straightforward. $1 marketing tutorials. Okay. Oops, we'll put a space there. Marketing tutorials. $1 marketing tutorials. Need help with your business? get your hands on these marketing, might run out of space, marketing tutorials. Now, nope, marketing tutorials, question mark. Okay, so very simple ad, nothing fantastic about it in any way, shape, or form. So now I'm going to put in my URLs as far as where I want to drive the traffic to. Now, again, normally when I would typically enter in a URL for any kind of ad, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a link tracking type software. I might use something like clickmeter.com, or I might use link tracker, linktrackr.com, and I might use those as my destination URL. This way I can track exactly how many people clicked on the link, and I can ultimately paste the conversion code on my website so I can see how many of those people converted into an actual sale. So link tracker or clickmeter, they both work pretty much the same way for the most part. So marketing tutorials, good thing I looked. I spelled it wrong. So there's be my URL. Now again, the URL, the display URL is what appears in the ad. So if we look at my website down here, you'll see it says http://marketingtutorials.com. Now I could remove the http:// after that, and it wouldn't really make a difference. I like putting the full URL, just makes me feel more comfortable, and it makes me feel more confident, actually. So, and then the second one, the destination URL, would actually be where my link tracker would go. When they clicked on my ad, it would go through my link tracker. I would be able to track the clicks, and also I'd be able to track keywords, which keywords they clicked on, which campaign they clicked on, which country they clicked on. I'll be able to see all that data in my back end. So it's very important. And then I would be able to see when we get a sale as well too. So now the keywords. The general rule of thumb that I've come up with in working with Bing as far as keywords go is we cannot just enter a bunch of crazy keywords that we found in Google. I mean, in the good old days, I would use a shotgun approach when I would create an ad, meaning I'm probably one of the few people in the world that knows that in creating a Google campaign ad, that you can only have 2,500 words, 2,500 keywords. How do I know this? Because I've had over 2,500 keywords and it wouldn't let me run my ad. You see, the fact is, when we're talking about advertising, we do need to be targeted, but all advertising systems do not work the exact same way. We need to find the one that works best for us. Now, as we come down through here, it says bid type, keywords or placements. Keywords or placements. We're going to go with keywords to start off with. And what we're going to do is we're going to click research. Now it's scanning my website right now to find out if there's any keywords that it can target or have it make sense. And they found a few. It looks like a couple. Not training, but the marketing, no. Tutorial, no. Marketing training, yes, that'll work. Marketing tutorials, yeah, that works too. So I might want to add these. Now, before we go and add this to our backend in order to utilize in this first step, we're going to do one thing. Step one, uncheck content. Uncheck the content network. Then we're going to click add. Now, those two keyword phrases are over on the right, and we're advertising underneath the broad, the phrase, and the exact match. Now, to the right of that, it has some options. And it says first page bid, add group bid, first page bid, all these different things. So what do we do? I'm going to tell you right now, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. Let me repeat that one more. Leave it alone. Don't touch it. That's what basically you do. You leave it alone. This is where you get the best clicks on Bing. So now, what we want to do is we're going to hit the drop-down menu under research. Now we're actually going to do another search. And this is going to be keywords that are going to be a little bit more popular or on target than we had before. And we'll type in the word marketing at first. See if we can find anything that would be appropriate. Email marketing, make money online, business opportunity, internet marketing. So internet marketing would be appropriate for us. Email marketing would be appropriate for us. Make money online for me would be an iffy one. Online marketing, perfect. Home business, not so much for me. Web marketing, yes. Affiliate marketing, yes. Online business, yes. Business marketing, yeah, sure, I'll go with that. Digital marketing, yes. Yes. Marketing services, marketing strategy, yes. And we'll leave that alone. So now I selected several keyword phrases. I click add to the right. Again, we don't click on content. It's figuring out their positioning. It's figuring out what I should be bidding, and it's doing it all automatically for me. I don't have to think. I don't want to think, honestly. I really don't want to think about this stuff. I want to make my job as far as setting ads drop dead simple as possible. So whatever they suggest for me, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do right off the bat. So I'm going to click save, next. And on the next page, I named this campaign already, so we'll call this Marketing Tutorials 3. I had a campaign named Marketing Tutorials already. That's why it wouldn't let me process or save. So I'm going to click save. Next, it's going to ask me my search and network bids. Leave them alone. Don't touch it. Again, leave them alone. Don't touch it. Everything else on this page, guess what? Leave it alone. Don't touch it. And then click save. And at this point, we've now created our ad. Our ad actually is going to start running almost probably in the next 30, 40 minutes. Our ads will start running and we'll start going from there. So this is the campaign, Marketing Tutorials 3. Our ad group, we didn't name it, but we could call that whatever we want it to be. And this gives us our basic information. So that's method number one. And we can, if you did nothing more than just repeat that method that I just did again and again and again and again with various other keywords, giving you more ideas as far as what keyword phrases you want to advertise under, you would do fantastic with Bing. You would do extremely well. But our next one is a little bit different. And this one is more so a content ad, meaning we're going to use their content network. And we're going to click create. Campaign name is already filled in for us, our ad group name. We're just going to put this content network just to give us an idea. We'll put test content network. Test content network. And that gives us an idea for us. We're going to advertise the same place. And this is the only pain in my butt. It really is. The pain in my butt is I have to write in the ad title again. So we'll put in $1 marketing. That's probably why I keep on writing $1 marketing tutorials. Because it is kind of a pain in order to keep on writing this again and again. We'll just make up something brand new. Marketing tutorials. Try it out today for only $1. And click here. Click here. And then my URL, which would be, again, what's going to display. This is the first one. And then my second one would be my destination. My second one is where I'd put my link tracker. Now, there's my ad. Looks fine to me. I don't see any major issues with it as far as creating anything. Except this time what we're going to do is we're going to click research. And in this time, we're going to uncheck everything else. And we're going to leave it on the content network. And we would simply go ahead and just utilize the keyword phrases that we did before, nothing major. And then click and add those. So again, these are only on the content network. We leave them alone. That's all we need to do. Then what we're going to go up to the left-hand side, find keywords containing a word or phrase. So just like we did before, we used marketing. And we're just going to pretty much choose the same type of keyword phrases that we used before. There's really not a lot to it. It's not very difficult. We'll go make money online. We don't want business opportunity. We do want internet marketing. We do want affiliate marketing, web marketing, and whatever else would be appropriate for me to advertise under. Maybe marketing strategy and a few others. But what we're going to do is we're just going to simply add the ones that we've already chosen over to the back end, which is just done. So we're pretty happy there. We're going to click save. It's going to ask us our search and network content network bids. None of this matters because we've already set the individual ads. That's why this portion up top here doesn't matter at all, is because we've already set what we're going to pay on the individual keyword. I should say we didn't. Bing did. They're the ones that selected it. We don't have to think about it at all. So these bids are just there for the sake of being there, so it doesn't really matter what is there. So we click save at this point, and now we have 2 ads. Now, this is typically where most people would stop. Most people would stop at right here and say, oh, I got my ads up, everything's going great, I'm doing fantastic, and then come back tomorrow or the next day going, oh, this sucks. So what we need to do is never advertise. Here's the general rule. And let me write this down because most people don't get this. If possible, and I'll write if possible. If possible, never advertise with only one ad. Never advertise with only one ad. Why? Because there's a very good chance and a very real possibility that your ad sucks. And it sucks big time. Writing an ad, it's funny what makes one ad work and another ad doesn't. So instead, in order to increase our odds that we are targeting and doing our best to reach a target market, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the ad group. So I'm going to click on ad group number 1, which is the first ad that I created. And we're going to see the keywords. That's fine. What we want to click on is we want to click on ads. Now, what we have here is we have the area where it shows what our ad title is and any information that we would normally have. And there's our ad right there. Now, when we do this, we only have one ad, so that ad will get shot every single time, no matter what. Now, when we're testing ads, we want to create another ad. So we're going to simply click create another ad. And you know what I'm going to do to make my job easier? I'm going to highlight this text down here. I'm going to copy it for a moment. And the reason why is because you'll see in a moment, we're going to create a new ad. And I'm going to put in this text that we had. Now, the first way you test an ad is you create 2 separate ads. Everything in it the same. So my URLs, well, you can kind of imagine they're going to be the same ones I promoted in the other example. So I'm just going to put in marketing tutorials.com. Same thing on the second line. Okay. Now, the most important thing you need to test to grab a person's attention is not the body, really. It's actually the ad title. The ad title has more to do than anything else. So I want to test instead of $1. Now, if I include a price, now here's the you may be thinking, why does he keep entering $1 in all of his ads? I'll tell you why. Because I actually don't want everyone to click. I don't want everyone to. You might want everyone to click right now. Why? Because that's what we've been trained. We've been trained this. More clicks equals more sales. And that's not true. It could be true, but it's actually not true by itself. Most people don't understand the difference that all clicks are not created equal, meaning some clicks are better than others. So, in order to deter people, I am actually doing something that will deter someone from clicking on my ad. I am putting a price. In this case, $1. $1 equals my price. And what I'm doing is I'm qualifying them. That $1 is my qualifications, my qualifier. So if you want to call it a price qualifier, you'd be more than accurate to say that. Why? Because if a person sees my ad and they still like what they see, even knowing that it's $1, that I'm going to ask them for $1 at some point on the next page. Well, at this point, here's what happens. At this particular point, and if they click through at that particular moment, I have a super qualified person. They know it's $1 and they click my ad anyway. So it's not a big surprise now for them, which is fantastic. Do I get less people to click on my ad? Yes, absolutely. But because I'm pre-qualifying everyone, I have less clicks, but I have a higher conversion. But now also something else I want you to consider about this is that even though I have less clicks, what does that also mean? I spend less. Or here's the other option. I could spend less, or I could spend more per click and still spend the same amount of money. Spend a little bit more per click. Why? Because many times with most advertising type scenarios, if we agree or think I should say, how do I want to say this? If we simply state that we are willing to pay more, we will get better positioning. Does that mean we have to pay more? The answer is no. Remember, the basics of PPC is higher paying ads go to the top. Meaning, if there was 4 ads on a page, the higher pricing ads, or I should say the higher paying ads, will actually go to the very, very top of the list. So if there's 5 ads on the page, the person who's at the top typically would be paying the most. But is that true? It used to be true a decade ago. Is it true now? The answer is no. Why? The reason why the answer is no is simply because almost every system has a mechanism to reward you for a better quality score. Okay? So again, you get rewarded based upon your quality score. Now, Microsoft has one, Google has one, Facebook kind of has one, but not really. Well, it does. Actually, it does. Let me take that back. Facebook has an extremely advanced one, and when we talk about Facebook, you'll understand exactly what I mean. But the quality score simply does this. It determines the price you pay. Now, important, extremely. Now, why? Why is this important? Because most people would say, if I'm willing to pay more money, then I should be at the top. The reason why I can't argue with that is I agree with it. I agree with it that if you pay more money, you should be at the top. But they don't go by that anymore. What they go by is they go by how many clicked on you. Okay, the more clicks, in this case, more clicks equals less money you pay. Now this changes the game at all. I should say, let me mark that. This changes the game big time. Why? Because now I could technically be at the top of a set of ads and be paying the least amount of money, because what these companies such as Bing, Google, Facebook, what they're all really trying to do is serve relevant ads. They want relevancy. Okay, relevancy. They want to show ads that are targeted through their customers. Now, the only way that they can see that the ads they're displaying are more targeted than the other is through click-throughs. The more clicks you get, the more they reward you, which means the less money you pay. But here's the other side to that scenario. If everyone is equal, if everyone is paying the same amount of money to start off with, the person who is willing to pay the most wins. Now, the keyword phrase that I have here is willing. I will bid top dollar most of the time in most of the ad scenarios that I'm in. If it says the low spectrum is 5 cents and the high spectrum is $1, I'm the guy bidding the dollar. Why? Do I really want to spend $1? No, except I am buying my way into the top position, which I know will get the most clicks. And because I get the most clicks, guess what happens? I pay less. I pay less. That is the best part about this. This is such a simple strategy, such a simple trick. And you're going to see it more when we advertise on Facebook, and I'll be able to display it and show you example more. But it works just as well on Bing. meaning that if we have a great click through on our ads, we end up paying less. And that's just the way it is. But if you understand it, you can almost buy your way into the top of most scenarios. So now, what does that have to do with our ad here? Well, it has a lot to do, because we want an ad that's going to convert, it's going to click. So again, in this previous scenario, I used $1 as a qualifier. And by using $1 as a qualifier, I get less clicks. That's fine. I'm ready to live with that. But the people that I do get to click on my ad are extremely targeted. So in this case, we're just going to replace the $1 with a simple phrase: new marketing tutorials. That's it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to click save. And now you can see I have 2 ads. I had 1 previously, and now I have 2. So here's what's going to happen. The only thing that's different between these 2 ads right now is the subject line. $1 marketing tutorials, and the other one says new marketing tutorials. So after running this for maybe a couple days, I'll be able to clearly see which one has the higher click-through rate. And then that's my winner. Then I can delete the old ad, and then I create another new ad on top of it. By creating another new ad on top of it, I have the opportunity to beat my old ad, which means I have an opportunity to beat them and increase my click-through rate at the same time. So always run your ads with 2 versions of it, if possible. Some platforms don't allow it. For example, Facebook does not allow that to happen. But that's okay. That's okay. There's other ways that we can utilize Facebook. It's a different game. It's a different story over there. But on Bing, it's still old school. They're going to show 50% of my ads to ad number 1 and 50% of my ads to ad number 2. Then I'm going to be able to look in a day or 2 once I have enough click-throughs and say, oh man, that one's killing it. That one has a much higher click-through rate, or that one has a much lower click-through rate. I'm going to be able to see which one's the winner. I choose the winner, then I use the previous ad as a base to try to beat. Can I beat? And again, right now I'm just focused on subject lines. Just the subject. I mean, I say subject, title lines. I'm just focused on the title. I'm not even talking about the body yet. See, once I come up with a title that I know is going to just kick butt, and I might try to take it down, try to take it down, and try to beat it. But at the end of the day, maybe that's just my best subject line. And so now I go to line number 2. In this case, line number 2 is this line right here. Need help? Need help your business? That should probably be changed immediately regardless. Need help with your business, that's what it should say. Get your hands on these marketing tutorials. So that next line, I need to look at it and say, what could I change about that would make it read a little bit better, that would get people to actually want to click on it? So then I run the same ads again. Now at this point, I'm testing subject number, the second line, I should say the first line of the actual ad. Now that's the only thing that's changed. So now I know whether the new line that I use is better than the old line, and hopefully it will increase my conversion rate along the way. So I will keep doing these ads on literally every line throughout the whole ad until I find the one that is going to work for me. And I will find that winning ad, testing it line by line by line by line by line. Am I going to get it overnight? No, probably not overnight. But will I get it eventually? Maybe if it takes me a week. Is that okay? And the answer is yes. It is okay. You just want to have the best ad. There's no race. There's no race to do this. You just want a great pulling ad. So this is how you do it. It's that simple. We don't have to wait. These are all simple ways in order to improve the advertising that you have, and at the same time, 2 different methods in order to advertise, one using the content network and one using the search network. That's basically the way it works. So that is Bing. Now, there's only one other thing that I want to show you on Bing, and I think it's really kind of those cool things, and that is the tools. If we go up top under tools, we can utilize Bing's keyword tool, their research tool. We don't have to create an ad to figure this out. we would just go to keyword research or research over here, and then research selected keywords. So we have my account that I'm utilizing right now. Find a keyword or a related phrase. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write something like, let's just say sales, WordPress sales letter. Now, I don't expect to really find anything in Bing for this, but we're going to type it in anyway. So WordPress sales letter, we can see that was searched 40 times last month. Now I have a campaign on the right here. This is WP sales letter. So this was searched 40 times last month. So that would be very appropriate for me in order to look at that. Now, here's the way this whole system works. Okay. What this does is it's going to tell me the best ads to click on. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to sort everything. Now, WordPress sales letter is exactly what I typed in. So I would immediately add that over to the right-hand side, which I think, well, let me do it right now. I don't think it'll let me do it yet. We'll figure that part out. So now, here's add keywords. So now there it is. We moved all to the right. So we're good so far. Yes. So now what we're going to do is on the left-hand side, we're going to sort by click-through ratio. And I'm going to click it twice. And look at this. WordPress tutorial and WordPress tutorials are coming up at 3.53 and 3.43 click-through rate. But also, the average cost per click is 29 cents. So that's pretty good. And that means I would have estimating about 300 clicks. And this one is estimating to get me about 112 clicks. These are pretty good numbers. So I might want to add these over to it. If I have tutorials in my scenario and I might not put them under the WP sales letter. I might put them underneath the marketing tutorials one. And then add those keywords over there. But then as I come down through the line, I'm looking at the click-through rate, which has the highest. And then all of a sudden it says WordPress squeeze page plugin. Well, in one of my products, I have a WordPress sales letter plugin. So that might be worth to advertise to. There's not a lot of searches, 59 searches a month, but it's only going to cost me 17 cents. And they're only expecting me to get one click, but you know what? I would actually advertise it underneath it anyway. That's just my thought process. But then we come down here. 829 searches, free WordPress templates, had 7 clicks, but the average cost per click was only 4 cents. So I can see the best deals that I'm going to get. Now they're estimating I'm only going to get 7 clicks. But I can see some of the best deals just by glancing down here, by seeing their click-through rate, the average cost per click, the number of clicks they would expect, and use that information to my advantage. So I could spend hours and hours and hours just creating or finding new keywords. And then once I find keywords I like, depending on what it is, I can say, okay, well, I'm going to add these phrases to my marketing tutorials website. And it says select an ad group. Content, we have broad, we're just going to put in the content one. And then we're going to click add to ad group. So once I've made my selection, now all I had to do was simply add to my group. And now those keyword phrases are running. So this tools, this research keywords tool, in my opinion, is invaluable because I can find out details that I would have never, ever thought of. And from the back end here. And just by simply utilizing their tool, I can just really come up with some great keywords just by looking at the average cost per click and the click-through rate. I want to sort by click-through rate because those are the keyword phrases that are doing the best. So I want to look at that, but then I also want to look on the right, meaning right next to it, the average cost per click. I can't have that too high. For example, under WordPress templates, even though technically, I'm going to get more clicks over there, but I'm also going to be paying 88 cents. That's not worth it to me. So I need to figure out where my price points cut off at. If I understand where my price points, I can cut those off. Then I can proceed very easily and say, okay, I'm just not going to think about spending over 50 cents or 60 cents, whatever it may be per click. And then I can rule these types of things out where I won't make the mistake of saying, oh, let's add that. It's 88 cents, but I can get, 393 clicks. That's fine. That's fine. But I need targeted. I need targeted. I need targeted. I need targeted. So that's the way it is. But this Bing tool, we'll just say it will be a huge time saver for you. It has been for me, and I know it will be for you too. So the next one that we're going to look at is we're going to look at Facebook. Now, again, there's only a couple ads that we want to really focus in on Facebook. And there's a couple ones that I want to share with you to make it easy. And I'm going to show you the most powerful ad that you can create on Facebook. It's an amazing ad. It's simple. It's easy. It's straight to the point. So it's straight to the point. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at, I'm going to pull up one of my pages because it's very important that we utilize a page. So we're going to choose this one, which is my local business. It's something that I just mess around with. It's not really even published yet, but we're going to use it anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to publish an ad. Okay. And here's the way it's going to work. Click on this. Let's say click here now. And I'm going to type in a URL that I want to send people to. I'll say marketing tutorials. Okay. Now I'm assuming I have an ad for marketing tutorials. Now I don't want to come up like this. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm going to get rid of that. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look for an image. I'm going to upload an image. So I'm going to choose the image. Now I don't have an image prepared. I'm going to tell you right now. So we're going to have to make do with another type of image that we may have on our desktop. So let's just give me a good image here. And we're going to go to, I have a folder called images. And we'll make some assumptions, okay? We'll assume that this ad is about marketing tutorials. It's not, but you'll get the picture either way. So we're going to click here and we're going to click post. And so again, remember the name of this page is my local business. So it appears on the right hand side. We're going to refresh this page and it'll appear on the left at this point. So there it is. Oh, it appeared on the right somehow. So there it is. It's right here. It's right there from Facebook course. It's my old Facebook course. So what we're going to do now is we're going to click on our ads manager. And what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to create a new ad in the upper right hand corner. So now the first thing it's going to ask me to do is which page would I like to promote? Which page would I like to promote? So out of all these pages, which one would I like to promote? Well, if you notice, first of all, my page isn't there. So what we're going to do is we're going to publish this page first. So we're going to hit refresh and we're going to publish it. And the reason why, that's why it wasn't showing here. So we're just going to hit refresh over here. And we should see it here. Just a moment. There it is, my local business. Okay, so we've selected it. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to click See Advanced Options on the right-hand side. We're going to click that. And we're going to click Choose an Existing Page Post. Now let's look at this ad. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can kind of get a good look at it. There's what my ad would look like. It says my local business, which is the name of the page that I had, which is just a fictitious number or a fictitious page that we created. I says click here now. It clearly shows my marketing tutorials URL, which is extremely important for me. So I want to make sure that my full URL is shown. I'm happy with that so far. And then I had an image there. I have an image right here. And there's the image. So now, why is this type of ad so important? Well, I'll tell you why. what we're going to do is we're going to zoom out of here and to make sure we can see the whole page. And we're going to go over to my standard Facebook timeline, so to say. Now, if you notice, these ads all on the right-hand side pretty much are the same. There's not anything different about them. Sure, the image is different. They're promoting different things, but for the most part, the layout is identical in every single one of these. They are using the standard Facebook layout. There is no difference. The standard Facebook layout, which is okay, but also kind of lame. So I'm going to try to refresh the page, see if I can get a different type of ad to pull up here. And I can't, because they won't show me any other ads. Why? Probably because I want them to at this moment. Or maybe no one's running them. So now let's just look at this, since we're not having any luck pulling up, pulling up a different type of ad. But these are all the same ads, right? Now let's compare that with my ad. Now, does my ad look different than these ads over on the right? Yes, it does. Why? Well, if you look at my ad closely, you'll see it has my picture on it. That's number one. Number two says, has the name of my page, which would be my local business. It has direction. It says, click here now. It has my URL, which is right there in plain view. And it has an image. It has an image next to it as well, too. So it's a different shaped ad. Now, basic rules of advertising simply state, basic rules of marketing simply state, is that the public notices differences. They do not notice sameness. So the public itself notices differences rather than things being the same. So the differences that we want to demonstrate are basically already done with the ad. But here's the other part that is not demonstratable, I guess. Is that a word? Demonstrable? Either way, you guys get what I'm trying to say. This type of ad that I am utilizing to advertise, this type of ad, this advertising a page post, appears only in one single spot, and that is at the very top, which means my ad would appear above this ad, and it will always appear above the first ad. Why? Because it's a sponsored page post. Facebook only positions them in one place. So therefore, if I am at the top of the chain, who gets the most clicks? I do. I get the most clicks. Why? Because I was just smart enough to use a different kind of ad. That's why it works. That's why it's incredible. That's why this type of ad outpulls almost every other kind of ad that is in existence out there. Just by posting a short message. Let's look at this again. A short message. What was my message? Click here now. Then what did I say? I entered a URL of where they want to click. That's all I did. So now my URL is exposed to the world. My ad or my image that I'm advertising is right there as well. So they could click on the image. It's going to pop up a new window. I'll grab their attention, and then they have the opportunity to click on my ad. So I am extremely excited. I'm very happy as an individual and as a business person knowing how to create that ad. And because I'm at the top, I get all the click-throughs. And because I get all the click-throughs, what happens if you get more clicks than everybody else? Oh, that's right. You get rewarded, don't you? Which means that Facebook, just like Bing, just like Google, and just like all the others, have a mechanism that says if you get more clicks than everybody else, or more clicks than a certain percentage, just put it that way, you pay less money. Let me give you an example. I have, with Facebook, it's all about click-through rate. I woke up one morning and I downloaded my stats, I downloaded my ads, and I wanted to see exactly how I was doing that day. Well, it was early in the morning, and I only had a few clicks on this one particular campaign, but my conversion rate was a ridiculously high number. I don't remember exactly. I believe it was like 3 or 4%. I think it was more like 3%. And 3% conversion rate, click-through rate on Facebook, oh, you're entering God territory when it comes to advertising. So what happened? Well, as a result of that, my cost per click was extremely low. I think it was like 3 cents. So I'm like, oh my gosh, will that keep up? And as the day went, of course, the numbers caught up with me, and my cost per click eventually went up. But it proved to me just how important that click-through rate actually is. So this is huge. This is incredible. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we are at the top. That we are at the top. Let me repeat that again. That you are at the top of the ad chain. You need to be at the top of the ad chain. And because you are at the top, you're going to pay less money than before. So let's go back to the ad. So this is the number one type of ad that you can post on Facebook, period. That's it. Now, secondary, it says stories about your post or your page. You can choose this. It's fine. Typically, I'll leave it alone. Then we choose the location. Very simple. Country, typically one country at a time. This is the short version. Now, we're going to go to age. I typically choose 22 and up. But then we go into precise interests. Now, the precise interests are, well, interesting. Because most people don't get it. They don't understand. They don't feel that they understand this one piece at all. I'll tell you the most basic thing that you can do. I'll tell you how to instantly become a Facebook expert within minutes. An interest is your competitor. Think of who your competitor is and then enter them in. Hopefully they'll have a Facebook page. If they have a Facebook page, there's a good chance we can advertise underneath their name, which means we can advertise to all their customers. That's one of the first things I do is I have a list of my competitors and I start typing in their names here. In my case, many of my competitors go by a name. They're an individual. And so I would type in their name. If they have a Facebook page, I run an ad against them and basically to all their customers and followers, I should say. Another way to go about there is the interest level. And when we go by the interest level itself, what we're really looking at is something very general. So in my case, I'm advertising marketing tutorials. And again, we're not going to run this ad live, but what we're going to do is we're going to go internet marketing, and I'm going to choose pound internet marketing. The pound sign simply means broad. It's a broad use of the term. And exact or precise interest is a little bit different. Now, internet marketing, we can advertise again under precise interest, which means it's a little bit more targeted in that case. Then, as we come down through, we pretty much leave everything the same, and then we set our budget. Now, knowing what you know about me at this particular moment in time, what would you say our budget should be? Now, there's a little bit of a trick. It's a little bit of a trick question because, as you can see, my campaign budget is already set to 10. And it's because all my ads typically start at $10. And Facebook remembers this. So I have all my ads set that I can start at $10 almost every single time because that's the way I start. So $10 would be the max. $5 is more than fine. Next, underneath this, campaign schedule, run my ads starting today. Now, this is really a matter of choice at this point. You can choose to continuously run your campaign starting today. As long as you're monitoring it the whole way, it's not a big deal. But if we want to set a specific start date and a specific end date and say, hey, I only want to advertise for the next 4 days, or I only want to advertise in this space, then you can choose the second option, which is to set a start and an end date. And then it allows you to pick the choices on a calendar. Now, the next option underneath here says conversion tracking, meaning that in a page, we can track exactly what has happened directly from Facebook. This is a new piece that Facebook has that we can do this. It's very simple, and we'll talk about it in just a moment. It's very easy to set up, but I've already set this up for this particular campaign. So we're going to create select The marketing tutorials one that I've already set up, it's active. And then our next choice. In this case, what Facebook did is it says your bid will be optimized to increase engagement with your post. Meaning, what Facebook is going to do is they're going to monitor my click-through rate. They're going to monitor my conversions. They're going to monitor all that good stuff and hopefully display it to people that are more than likely to take the actions that I want, which in this case is really a matter of collection of leads. Now, this is, I think, it's a cool way to manage your ads, is basically to let Facebook do it. It's in their best interest to give you the best ads. And what I've found in the past is that, day one, you might not see anything. Day two, you may not see anything. Day three, but somewhere around day four, maybe day five, maybe 4, 5, or 6, somewhere in that area, what you'll see is all of a sudden your click-through rate go up, your conversion rates go up, and all of a sudden it's like this fog has been lifted, and your ad starts producing, and it starts producing okay. Not crazy, but it starts producing okay, where it's more than acceptable and is probably very compatible with what I would get with my normal ad if I ran it personally. And many times, the longer you run it, that cost per lead or cost per click will decrease. It will decrease. And then it'll reach a number where it's very palatable. But some of you are what I'd call click Nazis. And the reason why I say that is because you want to optimize and utilize everything that you possibly can. Well, you can automatically optimize the budget to get more clicks if that's what you're looking for, is clicks. And that is, basically allowing Facebook to do it for you again. Or we can manually bid for clicks. So, for example, in this case, they're telling me at 68 cents is what I should be bidding at. And remember what I said earlier? If they give me a spectrum, what am I going to choose? I'm going to choose the high end of the spectrum. So, the amount that I'm going to put in here, 68 cents. Will I pay 68 cents? Remember, one of the other things that we talked about earlier was that I don't have to pay 68 cents. I just have to be willing to pay 68 cents. It's like faith in many ways. It's like good faith for the most part. The reason I'm willing to pay 68 cents. That's the bottom line. And so when they start running their tests, when they start running it through, all of a sudden they're going to realize that I am the person who's willing to pay 68 cents, which is probably a whole lot higher than the majority of people out there, especially for the keywords that I choose. Well, at this point, they automatically move me to the top of the list. And because I get so many clicks, I move all the way back as far as cost goes. And instead of paying 68 cents, I might pay only 15 or 20 cents for this particular ad. For this particular ad, 15, 20 cents, that'd be about it. And I'd be pretty happy. So again, if you want to manually do your clicks, that's how you do it. Now, the other option that we have here is to pay per impression. And this is tough. This one's a tough call always. Now, what do I do? What's my general rule? My general rule, and what I found to work best, is to do the exact same strategy. 67. 67, so boom, 6, 7. That's the high end of the spectrum of what they're asking for. But again, typically with this scenario, I have never had to pay full boat, meaning the full price in quite some time. Now, there may be some instances where maybe I'll be there for a moment or two, but overall, average throughout the day, I'm going to pay a lot less than what I estimate here. So now the impressions are good. Now, the question really comes down to is which scenario should you use, cost per click or CPM? That's the age-old question. And it's been going around since the beginning of any kind of banner advertising or the invention of CPM advertising itself. And that is, which is better, PPC or CPM? CPM, I pay, for example, in this case, 67 cents every time my ad is shown 1,000 times. On CPC, I only pay when someone clicks on the ad and actually comes to my website. So that's a big, big difference. CPM, technically, it doesn't matter if anyone comes to my website. I'm still going to pay for that advertising anyway. So what happens is if you start off with CPC and you find out that you've got a great clicking ad, that means your click-through rate's going hog wild, run another test, except this time create a new ad with the exact same scenario, except choose CPM. And now you will see, is it cheaper? So for example, if I'm getting a decent click-through rate and I'm paying CPM over here, I'm only paying 67 cents, but that's per 1,000 times that my ad is actually shown. So if I have a great clicking ad, I might be able to pull, 50, 100, 200 clicks in 1,000 impressions. And therefore now CPM beats out, because if I can pull in a couple hundred clicks, let's put it this way, out of 1,000, if I had a real crazy click-through rate of, let's say 1%. Okay, 1% would give me 10 clicks, right? So 1% would give me 10 clicks in this case. So at 10 clicks, think about this. I wouldn't be paying 67 cents per click. I'm still paying only 67 cents. So that means my effective cost per click is actually only 6.7 cents per click. So now I just greatly decreased my effective cost per click if I have a good ad. Now, if my ad sucks, it's going to cost me a fortune. But if I have a good ad, oh man, you're going to make out like a bandit with CPM. Except most people don't take the time to test their ad with CPC before transferring and moving over to CPM. That's the issue. It takes patience. It takes patience. And this is the one thing that a lot of people, when they get started with advertising, do, is they jump the gun. They jump the gun and they want results too fast. And some advertising techniques are not designed around speed, not in any way, shape, or form. Definitely not designed around speed. Why? Simply because it just doesn't work that way. We need data. You see, the best way to create ads is through having the most data. If I can have the most data, now all of a sudden, I'm dangerous. I'm a bad man in that scenario. Why? Because I now can say, okay, well, the more data I have, I can make this judgment call and this judgment call and this judgment call and this judgment call, because I know the overall scheme of things. So for example, if by testing, and again, every ad's different, I have to test every ad. I can't make the assumption. So by testing on a CPC basis, I'm paying only for results. Then once I find something phenomenal as far as click-through rate goes, I moved over to CPM. By moving over to CPM, at that moment in time, now all of a sudden, I could just drop my cost per click from 68, 50, 60, 70 cents over here per click on this side, bring it down to 4, 5, 6 cents a click effectively. I'm still paying, because I'm paying only 67 cents CPM. And even then, guess what? At 67 cents CPM, do you really think I'm going to pay 67 cents? No. I'm probably only going to pay, if at 67 cents, I might pay only 25 cents. So now if I got 10 clicks and 1,000 impressions, what's my effective cost per click? My effective cost per click is only 2.5 cents a click. That's 2.5 cents. Now all of a sudden, we start getting into some numbers that that makes you allowed to, well, I get it. Let me pause for a moment. I get too excited about it. What happens is we're getting into those numbers where now we can market anything and we can come out like heroes. It doesn't matter what we market. If we can get clicks for 2.5 cents that are extremely highly targeted, people clicking and liking and buying and everything else, we have hit the mother lode. But in order to get to there, what we need to do is we need to go through the trials over here on a CPC basis in order to make that happen. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Because if you understood what I just said, you have the ability now to walk in to any PPC scenario and quickly figure it out and figure out how to maximize the heck out of it in a relatively short period of time, over a week, or maybe a week and a half, 10 days tops. You can master that system, master those keywords. Now, is it going to be on one ad? No. We need to make a bunch of ads, a bunch of countries, a bunch of age groups. And that's kind of the way it works. So this is, again, a very simple and effective way for you to advertise on Facebook. And it's the most powerful way. Let me repeat that. Again, this is just one technique on Facebook, but it is the most powerful way to advertise on Facebook. There is no doubt in my mind. There is no other options. This is the most powerful way. What does it take in order to do that? It takes you having a Facebook page. It takes a Facebook page, a URL that you want to promote, and an image that you can post. That's all it takes. The text, I'm going to tell you what. Don't screw with my text. Click here now, and then enter a URL. You can say click here immediately. I'll let you go on that. But keep it short. Because if you go too long on the text pushes the URL out. And you want to keep the URL itself fairly short as possible. I don't think I could go any longer than marketingtutorials.com. If I go any longer, it's going to start cutting off my URL. I don't want it to cut off my URL. I want it to display my URL just like it's displaying right now, maybe with a capital M and a capital T. Well, other than that, I'm happy. I'm happy at this point. And then we would typically go and create the URL. Does that make sense? But now, here's the next step, though. The next step, though, that we need to really focus in on is leverage the idea and the concept of PPC, whether it be on Facebook or whether it be on Bing. It's the leveraging aspect. And we can go beyond Facebook and beyond Bing. These are closed circuit systems. And what do I mean by closed circuit systems? My ads on Facebook, where are they? Where do they go? Only on Facebook. My ads on Bing, where do they go? Pretty much Bing or another site that Bing heavily partners with, but that's very rare. And, well, I guess the other thing I could say about Bing is that my ads would also go on Yahoo as well, too. That's the big bonus. So I cover Bing, Yahoo, and then whatever networks have associated themselves with their content network. Well, what we want to do is we want to break the ice. We want to go above and beyond. And the way that we do that is it's something called ad networks. And ad networks themselves are basically companies that pair up an advertiser and a publisher. A publisher is who displays the ad. The advertiser is the person who buys the ad on that site. And that's the way it works. And the company in the middle, the ad network, takes a little piece as their cut. That's the short version. That's the simplicity of it. And so if I wanted to find an ad network, and let's just add networks. So now we can immediately see that there's a lot of ad networks that we have here. And let's give us some room so we can look at some of these for a moment. I'm going to get rid of that ad. Okay, first one, buy, sell ads. Ad network directory. We want to take a look at that. And we're going to take, don't want that one. Take a look at this one. Definitely want to take a look at this one. And we'll leave it right here for right now, okay? We'll leave it right here for right now, just for a moment. Because we're gonna expand this just a little bit. Okay, so now first one, buy, sell ads. Okay, buy, sell ads, very simple, amazing place to advertise on. It's a banner network for the most part. And I use that for the most part aspect. And the reason why I say for the most part is because they do have other things that we can buy as far as advertisements go. For the most part, we're going to advertise on a website. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and just kind of give you an idea and I'll give you the quick rundown of how this actually works, is that we go over here, and first thing I do is I list them vertically. So in the upper right-hand corner up here, I just list them straight down because I find it easier to look at. Now, I want to advertise in the business and marketing category as an example. And what I would do is take a look here. And the first thing I do is scroll. I scroll and I immediately weed out. Now, if it says CPM on the very right-hand corner of each one of these websites, then it's immediately out of the way. I don't think about that. When we're doing with banner advertising, anybody that wants to advertise in CPM, they're nuts. They're crazy. They're off their rocker. We don't want CPM for banner advertising. We want CPC, or a flat rate for the month. So for example, this website right here, it says $20 for 30 days. And my monthly ad impressions would be 46,000. That's a heck of a deal. So I'm going to click on this. It's going to give me the details about it. And it says, okay, the Sociable Technology Media Blog. So that looks good. That sounds good. And it says right here, below the article content, I can buy a 125 by 125 ad. That's 125 by 125 pixels. And I can spend $30 for 30 days. It's going to stay up there for 30 days. Now, again, I could go in the sidebar 2, or I can go in the sidebar 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click over to this website to kind of give me an idea where my ad would actually be. So I see one ad here. So that's one right there immediately once I scroll down a little bit. And there's a couple of them down here. So it's either going to be in one of those two spots. But it also said on the actual article itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on one of these. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at this and say, okay, where would that 125 by 125 ad be? And guess where it would be. This is underneath the article right here. Not a bad position. I'm not really too bad about that. So would I take this ad? Okay, so here, again, it looks pretty good. I would go ahead and I would advertise on the site. It gives me a great spot that I can buy for $30 for 20 days. I'm sorry, $30 for 30 days, and I can have up to 30,000 impressions according to this site. So I would buy that. I would put my little 125 by 125 ad there. If you don't know where to buy a 125 by 125 ad, I'll tell you where to go. This is the guy I use. $20 banners. Once you find a good banner guy, you never leave him. Seriously, you just never leave them. Why? Because if they do a good job, you just kind of utilize it. So here's $20 banners. We use them again and again and again and again and again and again. This is typically what a lot of times what we'll do is we'll order like this marketer's pack if we're going to order a bunch. So for example, like this one, I talk about this guy in my secret PPC course. So this is the package that I recommend in my secret PPC course for $129. It's all right there. So we use Swan for a lot of different banners. They do great work. We're just really, really happy with what they've done for us over the years as far as costs, as far as the cost of banners and the look and feel of their banners. They just do a tremendous job. That's why I use them. So again, with this, we choose here's the rules though. If it costs with CPM, we ignore. If it's a flat rate for a certain number of days, we check out the site. If we like what we see, then we move on. So again, but these are just the featured. What we have to do is we have to click view all. Now, all of a sudden, we start opening it up and we start saying, okay, here's $60 for 30 days. 125 by 125 banner, estimated 910,000 impressions. So I'm thinking, okay, $60. Let's see where that bad boy is going to go. It says 125 by 125 top left. So let's take a look. Top left, right here. Up in the left-hand corner, it says advertise right here. So now that means they've got 10,000 impressions a month for $60. Count me in. I'm ready to play. It's worth it. It's worth a try. It's worth me spending $60 on that. $20 SEO journalists, 630,000 impressions, $20 for 30 days. We click on it. 468. We have a $20 ad down here. 2 out of 14 on the right sidebar on all pages, 630,000 impressions. So let's take a look at this guy's website. 125 by 125 ad on the right-hand side of the page. That's what we're looking for. It's all right in here. You can see one of the people, one of my students are advertising right there. And so, is it a good deal? Heck yes. Absolutely. It's a tremendous deal. So, again, we come back and we keep on looking. We keep on looking. Now, again, you can get hog wild with this. But again, it's a one shot. It's a 30-day commitment, first of all, for $20, $30, whatever it may be. It's a 30-day commitment that I'm making and saying, I can't cancel halfway through the month. I have to carry out the whole month. I spent $30. And if I don't like it, I have to cancel, or else they're going to bill me again next month. It's a standing order. So that's very important with buy-sell ads. But this is a network that I use, and I use consistently a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot. Next, let's take a look at this. What was this? Oh, this was just an example website. Now, this website here, this is an ad network directory. Now, this particular site itself is not a place where you advertise. It's actually where you find ad networks. Now, these ad networks cover everything, everything. They're like the biggest ad networks on here. I mean, when you talk advertise.com, ValueClick, Sonobi Media, Media.net, who just partnered with Yahoo, and we'll look at that in just a moment. All of these companies that are here on the left-hand side, largest ad networks, and it says 2012, but even though it's 2012, click on them, because many of these companies have been bought out or merged. That's what happens with a lot of ad networks. They merge together quite often, quite frequently. So what we would do is simply find the ad networks. We can look for different network types. There's hundreds of ad networks on this one site. And we would just simply go through, look at them, and then join them. And then place an ad, a sample ad here and there, control our budget, and just move on. So this is a adnetworkdirectory.com. It's an invaluable resource. You can go here and you can find hundreds of ad networks that you can join. Hundreds of ad networks. And these are some of the biggest ad networks in the world. AdInch, this is a relatively new one. Promote your apps with ads and other apps. Not for us. We don't need it. AdRoll. AdRoll, this is awesome because AdRoll is a little bit different. It's a little bit different. For example, we only pay with AdRoll, it's retargeting. So if someone visits our site, we are going to advertise to them. So for example, and let's log in. Let's see if I know my login on this. Oh, I hate that. So let's try this. This might be good. Let's try this password. Are we good? We are good. So I'm happy. So now we can see this is a campaign that I'm running. Actually, I need to shut it off, believe it or not. So now what we have is we have the ads. In fact, on the right-hand side here, we're going to zoom in on a couple of my ads down here. So I'm advertising my banners. I was advertising a program that we have called WebCamp. And I have 3 banners that I uploaded that they had recommended that I uploaded. So has 5,743 impressions. This one has 3,519. This one has 6,351. And you can see the click-through rate. Now, am I willing to pay for these people? Yes. Now, why am I willing to pay so much for these people? Well, I shouldn't say so much because it's not expensive. The reason why is because these people that I am advertising to have been to my website already. Now what I'm doing is I'm following them around the internet. So they just visited my website. Now everywhere they go, what are they going to see? They're going to see my ad. They're going to see my ad, which is awesome. So now I'm constantly reminding them of my ad. Now I didn't get a huge number of clicks on this, right? I had 15,000 impressions from April 5th to April 19th. Now, if we go back a little bit further, let's go March 1st. I'm not sure exactly how long we were running this campaign. Yeah, you can see 48,000 impressions of my ads, 55 clicks. My click-through ratio on average between all of them was 0.11%. My average cost per click was $2.07. My average spend was actually $113 for that period. Now, again, I'm not targeting traffic to get to my site. I'm targeting traffic to come back to my site. So whatever my cost per click is, I'm more than willing in order to get these people back. Now, another thing that I can do with AdRoll, which makes it so exciting, is that not only could I create banner ads, and my banner ads actually appear in Google, they appear in YouTube, they appear all over the place. I mean, I've seen some of these ads just appear in the strangest places, but they're following me all over the place. But the other place I can do is I can follow people on Facebook. So when they come to my website, after they come to my website, they now go to Facebook and they see an ad that I'm running on Facebook that I create right here inside of AdRoll. So this is a tremendous tool, maybe not to get new traffic, but to really follow up and get the maximum usage from your ads that you're running. And so it works hand in hand with ads that you're utilizing to try to get traffic to your website. It allows you to maximize the income and the potential that it has from it. So it's a separate beast, really. And I just found it really easy to use. I found it really simple to monitor. I set it up and I don't really think about it anymore after that, which again, I need to pause this campaign, which wouldn't be too good. So let's go back over here. Now let's talk about the BYO aspect of this. Now, one of the BYO aspects is the ad network directory. We talked about that. That's one, because that gives us a list of hundreds of other ad networks. And Wikipedia, we'll see what Wikipedia brings up. I'm not sure about this one. We'll pull up this one. This is a link on the Warrior Forum from 2011. So we'll click on it anyway. We're going to look ad network directly. 350 online ad networks. Actually, that's ad network directory. So we don't need to do that. So it's 350 ad networks we can find right there. Best list of mobile ad networks. So again, that's a mobile ad network, which we weren't looking for it, but since we found it, that's pretty awesome. This is the one I want to show you guys. This is the one I'm really excited about, that we're getting ready to actually apply for, to advertise over here. Okay, Yahoo Bing Network. Now, minimize your yield by displaying highly relevant ads from Yahoo and the Bing Network. Now, what this is if you're a publisher on it. But this is also one of the cool things. As a publisher, we have some sites that we advertise and we run ads on. And so Yahoo and Bing are on this aggressive kick right now in order to get more and more out there. So again, if you run ads on your website, this would be one of those places, kind of like Google AdSense, that I would recommend that you do. So it has nothing to do with traffic, but it's something that we're going to keep our eye out on for in the future. Because I believe, and this is my thinking, I believe that connection with media.net is actually, this is just my theory. There's no proof behind it, but it's my theory. I believe that they're going to create another way that we can advertise on that network, that new network that they're building. So I'm kind of watching that, and I'm watching that pretty closely. So there's another one. Let's click top ad networks. Let's look at this. Mobile advertising, online advertising, list 25 ad networks for online business, list of ad networks. So this is what I do. What I do is I create exhaustive lists of networks and websites and keep on going and going and going and going and going till I have all these different things. Because I know, like, for example, DoubleClick, AdMailed, advertising.com, Burst Media, Context Web, ValueClick, Google. Okay, perfect. So now here's something strange. What happened, if you're looking at my screen, an ad popped up while I hovered my mouse through one of their pieces. So when this happens to me, guess what I do? What's the curiosity? What happens? I want to know, well, how can I advertise there? So I click and I look around, and it appears that this would be what I would click on, and it's Vibrant Media. So now I'm like, okay, Vibrant Media. So now, how do I advertise on Vibrant Media? So then I remove all these URLs and everything else and come back over to Vibrant Media, and instantly, boom, I just get a brand new ad source without even thinking. I find a new ad network. And how do I know it's an ad network? It's very easy. It says advertisers and publishers. That's the dead giveaway for an ad network. So that'd be one way. So then that was that link. We come over here, 25 ad networks. It says Google AdWords, Yahoo Advertising Network. We know that's out. That's defunct. Microsoft is now Bing. That's defunct. Alternative ad networks, Pocket Sense. So Pocket Sense, ClickSoar, AdBright, I think just went out of business. Bidvertiser, Chitika, I think they have to have $50,000 per month in advertising to use that now. Tribal Fusion, advertising.com, Vibrant, that's the one we just found. ValueClick, Media, Context Web, Klaxon, ClickSent, Dynamic Oxygen. So now there's this whole big list. So now I just found a bunch of things. Now some of these are no good. So for example, this one's not found that website page, but is the company still up? And guess what? The company's still up. So now I look at this and I'm like, okay, well, that's a new one. I'd bookmark that one. Here's another one, ClickSoar, which I actually use. So I would bookmark that one. You can see I've already bookmarked it. There's my yellow star because we do advertise on there. AdBright, gone. Pretty much out of business. They announced it a couple months ago. Bidvertiser, another ad network. How do we know? Advertisers and publishers. They've been around for a long time. So Bidvertiser is another one. Another one, Chitika. Pretty much you're out of the game. You have to spend $50,000 a month for the most part, I believe, in order to advertise on Chitika now. So let's click on advertisers just to get our no. Yeah, 50,000. That's what they want. So that's not going to happen. ValueClick Media, one of the longtime companies out there. Click around, find out what it takes to join them. Another one, Klaxon. We don't know if this is correct, so we come back to the main URL to find out if they're still in business or not. And what we discover is they're probably out of business. This one, a ClickSent, that's out of business, definitely. This one, another list. AdSense alternatives. We don't care about AdSense alternatives. We want advertising networks. And so now we've got this big list all the way down here. There's 1, 2, 50, 74. That's 74. Is there more? 74 ad networks right here at our fingertips. Now, there's 74 new places that we can advertise that can expose us to literally millions upon millions, if not billions, of places on the net in order to advertise. This is what happens. This is how you explode and figure out ways to advertise. Let's put it this way. If you never left this page, you're never going to be wanting for traffic ever again, because you could advertise in any one of these. It'll give you more traffic than you could possibly handle. And many of these are really, really targeted solutions. So these are definitely some of the better places here that they're listing. Now we click through again. We go to the next site. This happens to be a search engine, but so we can skip that. That was a bogus one. Big list of mobile ad networks. I don't see where the big list is. So that's bogus. At least it's not obvious. Huge list. Here's another one. This person was on the Warrior Forum. Big list right here. Free list. Doesn't cost you anything, of all kinds of ad networks. And there they are. Boom. So, when people tell me that they can't find any place to advertise, I actually don't feel sorry for them most of the time. I'll give them some pointers. I'll mention some places like 7Search or AdBlade or, not AdBright anymore, but AdKnowledge was recently merged with another company. A lot of these, even if you find this list like this, you're going to discover that many of these companies are gone. They come and they go. That's okay. You filter the list. You filter it down. For example, like this one lists AdSonar. Well, I'm pretty positive that AdSonar changed. And am I right? Yes, it went to advertising.com. So you're going to find that many of these have changed, have merged, have gone on. And that's okay. That's what happens all the time. And so you just keep on looking. 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 And then we have Wikipedia. So we have Wikipedia. These are not all of them, but these are some that are really good that, I use InfoLinks. I've used AdWords. I've used AdBlade. I've used AdBright, AdCenter. I've used Hydra Network. I've used I haven't used Contera. I've used Zito. I've used a number of these. So these are all fairly decent ones, fairly decent companies right here. And this is just a good list to start off with. Again, you add it to your list. You can create a spreadsheet if you want to. Again, you can go through this network directory. And even on here, you'll find that there's companies that have come and they've gone. And that's okay. That is absolutely okay. The point being is that by creating ad networks that work almost identical to Bing and to Facebook and many of the other PPC networks, PPC companies out there, you'll find that once you use one, the rest are all easy. Piece of cake. Because there's not much that you can screw up on it. And the costs are pretty much all the same. There's not too much of a difference between one way or another. So this is a great and fantastic way to explode your advertising. And I guarantee you, if you simply went to the lists, if you were kind of following me a little bit, just on those like maybe 6 or 7 pages that we pulled up in the last 6 or 7 pages, those pages alone, if you went through all the different companies there, you would never, ever want for another place to advertise ever again. Period. There is nothing else. That's all of them almost. And there's some other things that we can talk about, and categorize and filter some of them down into different categories. But for the most part, this is how you go about. And you make an exhaustive, take a Saturday, take a Sunday, and just start clicking. Get click happy and start making your list. And then start tackling them down one at a time. Start joining them. Joining this one. Join that one. Join this one. Join that one. Join this one. Join that one. And you keep on joining them. And then it doesn't cost you most of the time anything to join, most of them. And then try them. Test it. Test it with a low dollar amount. See what happens. And then move on. Try the next one. Try the next one. And you'll find ones that work for you and you'll find ones that don't. And, it's never going to be the same between two people. I can say, this worked for me, and I think it should work for you. You try it, and it doesn't work for you. So what could it be? Well, there's so many factors. There's so many variables. It could be your ad sucked. It could be, who you targeted to. It could be the market. It could be, how you create the ad. It could be the ad itself. We don't know. There's a lot of variables. But I do know this. If you start advertising more and more and more and do it in a controlled way, you start making more money. Does that make sense? So this is how you build places to advertise. You find your own. You are in control. You don't depend upon anybody. You are absolutely 100% in control. What we've covered so far in the BYO traffic course, you are 100% in control of your traffic now for the rest of your life. You don't need to depend upon me or anybody else for that matter. And if anyone comes up and says, oh, I found this great new resources, the resource to advertise it, they're full of crap. You know why? Because you typically would have already found that resources in the list that you created on your own. And if you stay up to date on a few other things like Facebook and a few up to date like Bing, you will be the most up to date person there is. There will be no one else that could know more and have more resources than you. Does that make sense? This is how you go from being okay to being a great marketer that drives traffic anytime they want to, any place they want to, because you have more resources. You have more tools available to you. You see, the difference, I've said this a couple different times, and some of you have heard me say this. The difference between me and you is that you typically have more choices than I do. Now, that may sound strange, and you may think that I said that in reverse, but it's true. You have more choices than I do. I don't have any choices anymore. And the reason why is because a lot of my choices are not choices for me anymore. They're no's. And so I know that after all my no's, I have this finite area, this finite path in front of me where this is my opinion. And it's been formed over the years. And that's the good thing, because now I can save myself a lot of time. And I've earned that because I've been able to figure out what does not work. And when it comes to ad networks, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm in the same boat as you. I search, I create my lists, and then I start practicing with them. I join it and I test it out, and I join another one and I test it out. And I either add that to my yes pile or I move it over to my no pile. Is there any way to get around that? No, there is not. The thing about marketing and the thing about any kind of business is it does take work. It does take effort. It does take time, but it doesn't take spending thousands of dollars. It takes only spending a couple bucks here and there, $5-10 to see if it's going to work at all. And then make that yes or make it a no. If it's in the yes pile, we come back and we advertise that on a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And then we come to a conclusion. This is a great place or this is not a so good place. And then we remove it either again or we keep on advertising again. Either way, it's okay. But this is how you become independent as a business person. So with that being said, I hope you guys understood exactly the direction I'm trying to take you on this path. And I think you're going to find out that once you go through like I did and simply type in a phrase like this, list of ad networks. Now, it's amazing that you were really only 4 words away of finding all the places that you could possibly advertise on your own. List of ad networks. 4 words that made a world of difference and made the idea of advertising online so much easier and so much more simple. All you have to do is type in that in and start doing your own searches, and I can guarantee you'll find places that you never even thought possible, that you could never even think of doing. Now, in the next session, we're going to go into a couple places that I want to show you as far as ad networks to give you an idea, and I want to expand upon this idea of ad networks just a little bit before we go into the next session. But also, one of the other things that you want to think about when I say list of ad networks, remember, we're only using Google. What if you enter that phrase into Bing? What if you enter that phrase into Yahoo? What if you enter that phrase into other search engines where you can find and build that list? Well, now you have more opportunities. You have more lists. You have more results. You have a bigger spreadsheet that you can work with, essentially. So again, think about what I said and focus in on building your list, building your network of places to advertise. So now you are in control of your own destiny. So again, thank you very much. My name is Armin Morin, and I'll see you in the very next session.